Good afternoon, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to Thursday Live. I'm Steve Leahy. It looks like it's going to rain out there. Anyway, that's not why you came. Welcome. I got a little bit of show and tell to do, and then we're going to look at some of these Ampersand scratching tools. I started this on Monday. The feed was terrible. The connection was really bad. It was really laggy, that kind of thing. So we're going to hope that that doesn't happen today. I'm pretty sure it's a Facebook thing, but we will find out. All right, so let's switch things around and we will get going because, yeah, a lot to do. All right, hold on. I'm going to go to this one and I'm going to try doing comments over here, hopefully, because the thing again. All right, let's see what we got here. Look at that. It worked. Hello, Simon. What's going on, man? I'm doing really good. All right. So this is what we're working on today. We'll get into that in a second, but I wanted to show you the finished framed painting from Monday, even though Monday was a mess and it went sideways. I kind of wanted to show you the final look on this. So this is how the painting came out with its gold leaf background and its UV reflection control and shadow box and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it came out really cool. So the reason why I wanted to show this one to you is because this painting will be framed exactly the same way. And because they both share this kind of blue thing, they'll actually be kind of a mini series, which will be fun. So I put this one on the website already. This one will be on the website as soon as it's done. Although this one, technically, the bird wing is going to be a little bit more involved, so it's going to take me a little bit longer. Kelly, what's up? Man, that's cool. I love it, man. Whatever you can do. Timothy John Luke Smith, what's up, Tim? So that is it. So let's get right to it, I think. Let me show you what we're doing, and that might be the best way to start. So again, if you missed Monday, I have these new scratching tools from Ampersand, and let's see if this works. Yeah. So I have all these new really great tools from Ampersand. They're scratching tools, and they come in this set, and I neglected to say Monday where I got them from. You could just go to Ampersand's website and they'll have a list of dealers, but I get most of my specific art supplies at Dick Blick, and you can order. They're a big online company. They even have stores. So that's where I got this. And it's neat. It comes in this pack with these 4 tools. It also comes with a piece of, where is it? Here it is. Ugh. Also comes with a piece of oil-free steel wool. So this is nice. There's no, there's nothing in this. It's just a steel wool, so it's great for artwork. I don't really use it, but it comes with it. And it also comes with a little tiny piece of clayboard too, which is what we're working on today. Not this piece. It's actually a really small piece, and that's what they give you. So, all right. So I grabbed this picture of an indigo bunting wing, and if you're lucky enough to have seen one of these birds, they're real tiny, but they are amazing. I mean, if you want to see blue, this is the bird. As blue as blue jays are, and as bluebirds are, indigo buntings are a creature among themselves. They are. It's like unreal blue. When you see one of these things fly by, you're like, you think you're seeing things. It's crazy. So I thought doing this little guy's wing would be great because it's got a lot of cool things going on with it. So that's your indigo bunting, and we'll switch to this camera and we'll get going. So what I've done before you guys got here, actually I did this yesterday, is that's a little bit too much exposure. Let's drop that down a bit. Come on, man. Here we go. That's probably good right there. All right. So what I did was I've got the base blue in. This actually is gray. Let's see if I have a piece of white here to show you the difference. There you go. So you see how gray that is? So that's gray. And then there's basically the background, which is kind of a dark gray with a small shadow. So I did all that first. And then what I did was I hit it with 4 coats of transparent sealer. which is a 6000. You see how glossy that is? So there's a lot of material on there. And I did that so we can do some scratching on it. And that'll make more sense as we get going. So if you have any questions as we go, let me know. And we're just going to get right into it. What I think we're going to end up doing is mostly the bottom, these bottom grayish feathers. That has the scratching that I want to show you. There is some on the blue as well, but oops, sorry about that. But not as much as the gray. The gray is really what I wanted to kind of dig into. Now it's too dark. Oops, come on, man. This one, and this one, and this one. And I know I got this. Trust me, I got this. I got this. And this one, and this one. And don't touch that button. Excellent. Then we do this one. Okay, good. Beauties. Something like that. Dan Mayer, what's up? All right. Kelly's got the wrench. We're gonna leave the wrench with Kelly, even though Kelly's gonna go. I'll switch it over to someone else. Brandon, what's up, buddy? Here we go. All right. So there's a lot going on here, but one of the cool things about this is the pattern in each one of these feathers. It's really fine. Actually, let me switch I'll switch you over to the photo the wing photo again so you can see it. But if you look at those gray feathers, see those, what the hell? See the really, really fine light gray lines in those gray feathers down below? That's kind of what I want to show you today. If I can get one of the feathers done completely, that would be great. But you'll see this is kind of a time-intensive painting, and I want to make sure that we get things done. Sorry about that. I'm using my phone for comments, and I forgot to silence it, which is a rookie live stream move. There we go. Now we won't get the buzzing. Okay. Back to this. All right. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start with a darker gray just to kind of flesh out some of these feathers. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on with them. There's a little blue leading edge on this too, on these, which hopefully I should get to before the end. But again, mainly what I want to do is I want to show you these scratching tools and how they can be used. So what I need is do I want to do a photocopy? Do I? Yeah, I think I do. Okay. So I was trying to decide whether I wanted to do a photocopy or if I just needed to kind of go in and lightly airbrush this thing. But photocopy would be the safer way to go here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let's focus on one feather at a time, I think. These are pretty much, even though they're layered on top of one another, they're pretty much individual things. So I don't have to worry too much about doing them in order, essentially. If they were like fish scales where they have a little bit of a shadow on each one from the one before, it would make sense to do them in order. But for us today, that's not really that incredibly important. Where do I want to come down to? About here. Yeah, you guys see what's going on. Okay, welcome back, Tim. Great feed last night too, by the way. I think still my favorite part about that painting, Tim, is the stocking colors, the nylon colors that you have on her. It's just it's so cool when that works out, and it certainly worked out in your painting already. It's not just the color. You can see her skin. It's weird. You can almost like you can see her skin through those nylons. Like they're not. It's not just a color. It's actually nylons on skin. It's such a cool effect, and it came out really great. I think that's going to work there. Yeah. Maybe what we'll do is we'll do a couple feathers. I know I'll never get to all these because you'll see this is a lot like it's going to be a lot like pointillism or traditional scratchboard because of the details that are in it. So it's not going to be something like the I was so bummed. I was telling Tim after we were kind of joking about how things go wrong with feeds, and you just kind of got to get through them and stuff. And I was telling Tim Monday, like everything else was great. Like I had a project that I knew I could get done in one night, which is rare for Monday nights. Usually I just do part of it, like we're going to do today. But I had it so that I was able to, I was going to be able to do the whole painting in one night, or what we had to do in one night is going to be finished. Everything was rolling. There's a bunch of people on, and of course, then the feed totally crashes, which sucks. Yeah, I'm gonna grab 3 feathers. That way, at least we have a few of them to work on. If I move faster than I thought. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm cutting out basically the dark gray. That's what I'm looking for here. There's a darker gray on all these feathers. And it's great, like I said, and then there's this blue leading edge that's on them as well, which really makes this bird just amazing. I mean, I was lucky enough. The only one I've ever seen was up in Wisconsin. And we were driving down the street, and this thing flew in front of the car, like right across the road in front of us. And like I said, man, it is... you can't even describe it. It's unreal looking. It's really crazy. It's so bright. All right, let's see where we got this guy here. Should line up with something. May not line up totally because I kind of, yeah, that's better. I cut with the wing up at the top where the blue is. I kind of just made a general pass with it so that I could blend it when it came time to blend. Put a couple of big magnets on this. We'll get to it. All right. So what I need is kind of a dark purpley blue gray, and it fades from the front of this feather as it goes out to the back. So I need that. I think I'm going to stick with cerulean, which is what I used originally. This is a detail cerulean blue, which is 0062. It's a great color. I also love, Tim, how small her face is in that portrait. I mean, you take the whole painting as it is. So if you haven't caught Tim yet on Wednesday nights, jump in and rewatch the videos on the, well, rewatch all of them, but the painting he's working on now, he's been working on this, I'll call it the Subway series. Anyway, he's got a portrait of a woman sitting on a subway, and you take the whole painting for what it is, but you forget, like, I don't know, it doesn't occur to you how small the face is because you're looking at the whole painting. But yeah, it's not a big portrait at all. All right, so I've got a little bit of black, a little bit of that cerulean blue. I've got my new garbagey, cheap Artist's Loft mixing paintbrush since I broke my other one, which is a bummer. And man, don't get me started. Oh, it says too much blue in it. I went over to Michael's to get some stuff, and I wanted to get a new mixing brush. One of these brushes that what am I doing? One of these brushes that I use for mixing, in the airbrush and stuff. And the last brush I had was an old Winsor & Newton acrylic brush. And, I know Michael's is not, the artist's art store. It's not Dick Blick or Utrecht or any of those types of places. But still, the level of like garbage that they sell now is just staggering, you know, and it's disheartening, you know. And I know some people just want to go and, you know, do whatever, you know. They're not doing like crazy $1 million paintings with the stuff they get from Michaels, but I mean, I was disappointed to see that they had gesso board from Ampersand at Michaels, and they're discontinuing it. It's all on clearance. And what they're doing is they've introduced all their own stuff, their Artist Loft stuff, which is, you know, it's lesser quality. In some cases, it's the same price, and it's just a house brand. So everything that's going on right now is house brand stuff. You know, everyone has their own brand, and it's the cheapest, and it's, you know, I don't know. Don't get me started. Need to hand over my wrench. You got it, Kelly. That's awesome. Yes, exactly. Kelly, my favorite thing is the insult. When I learned that you all over there call people who aren't as with it. So that's an insult to call someone a spanner, which I love. But thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I will swap that over to the next hapless victim. Let's see, who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? There we go. Let's try Tim. There we go. Tim's got the wrench. I don't know what the wrench does, but yeah, Kelly, I'm learning a whole bunch of great insults from my UK, my Welsh, and Irish friends. Yeah, but spanner was a great one. Damn it. You know what I didn't do before I did this, which I want to do? Let me show you. So I specifically left this step so I could show you. So again, see how glossy this is? This is crazy how glossy this is. This is the 6000 transparent sealer. It's too glossy though. The paint needs something to, you know, kind of help adhere it to. So, and this is how the UPO looks too when you, well, actually the gray isn't really this shiny, but it still needs a little bit of something. So what I do is just grab a little bit of this 1000 grit and just sand this whole thing down. Dwayne Marshall, what is up? So I want to avoid the edges, even though there's clear on the edges. It's super easy to roll this paper or this foam sander over onto the edge, and what it'll do is it'll literally just bite through the corner here, and sand it right down to white. Which it's funny on these, if you choose to just frame them normally, where you have, like, you know, a mat on this, it doesn't really matter. But if you float these like I do, you can really see that white outline, which is not cool. And I don't want to fix it, so, you know, I don't have to repair it. So all you do is just sand right up to the edge. And you don't really need to, you know, sand the edge anyway. Paint will stick to this just the way it is, you know, really smooth, but I just like it better when it's got a little tiny bit of tooth to it. Plus, it makes it easier to see too. You know, you're not wrestling with the gloss all the time. Plus, if you know there's any kind of chunk in this, like say there was a little bit of dried, you know, base coat when you're spraying it, this just knocks it all down. It just levels it all out so that you have a really just perfect surface to work on. There you go. Oh, look what I did. I grabbed the, yeah, actually you can use steel wool. So, steel wool, I like the Scotch-Brite pad better than steel wool just because steel wool sheds. And, you know, there's always a chance that, you know, you're going to leave a little bit behind, which you can always wipe off, but the Scotch-Brite pad doesn't ever leave any shreds. So, but there you have it. That's what I should have done before. It's all nice and nice. Okay. Which reminds me, should wipe it off. This gets all the residue off as well, which is good. The sanding residue, which you don't want on there really. All right, let's get back to it. Line this up. So we were talking about what the next Open Studio is going to be. And I mentioned doing a cityscape because wow, it's blue on my finger. Where'd that come from? We had mentioned doing a new cityscape, or I mentioned doing a cityscape for the next one because we're just about done with the Mustang. I only have 2 more episodes left of the Mustang, which is great. And then it occurred to me, you know, someone had mentioned Las Vegas or like Tokyo. So then it occurred to me that my lovely assistant Lachlan, Marge's oldest daughter, is actually on a school kind of exchange trip right now. She left today for Japan. So I put in my order for her to see if she could find some asphalt for me from Tokyo. The only problem is her trip will get her back after Open Studio. The next one should start. So this still feels kind of blue. So I'm going to dump out some of that. Yeah, so that would be exciting if we can pull off getting some asphalt from Tokyo without having her stopped at the border or, you know, stopped at customs or whatever. It still leaves me kind of in, you know, in a spot where I don't have a painting for the next Open Studio though, but I'll figure it out. The artist sleeve, absolutely. Yeah, Simon, I'm lucky. Today I remembered to put on all my painty pants and painty shirts and painty sweatshirts and all that, so I can get paint all over this. That's fine. Okay, keep adjusting this. Now I've got kind of a steel bluish gray, which is going to work out good. It was just looking a little bit too brilliant. So what I am going to have to do eventually, I want to jump back to 543s as soon as I'm done with you guys today, which is what I was working on. However, I'm going to have to base in all these feathers now because I don't want to remix this color and take a chance it's going to be wrong. All right, so the leading edge of these feathers has more of this gray on it. And then it trails off as it gets down towards the bottom. That's lovely. All right, next up is a little bit of black to just kind of bump that down, especially near the blue part. So the really thin line between all these feathers is that bright blue part. So and I've been a super good doobie too. I've been working on the my vacation 543s as well. I picked 10 additional suggestions from the beginning of the year till now, and I'm preemptively painting 543s for the time that I'll be in Wisconsin and the time that I'll be in Massachusetts, which is exciting. Actually, I have 2 trips planned for Massachusetts, so I may try to get 15 done so that I really don't have to worry about any, working at all when I'm out there for any of the trips. All right, let's take a look at what we got. And we should be able to start scratching this. Again, I'm going to have to do all the other wings or the other feathers, but this will be good. All right, so there's a couple things that are going on with these. There's a traditional scratch brushing tool, and I should have looked for it, but I didn't. In the kit, I put it aside and I have no idea what I did with it. This nib comes out like a regular, pen. So they give you this diamond-shaped tip, and then they give you kind of a curved bladed tip as well. I put the curved bladed tip somewhere safe, and I don't know what I did with it. And this was only like a minute ago, or whatever. So they give you both of those. They give you this really cool wiry tool, which we used a lot on Monday. So if you want to see that, this one I used for grass. It's very random. Those wires are very stiff though. They're not like flexible at all. So you really get a cool, it's not like you're brushing on the scratch board and it's just like moving the bristles. These things are there. Then they give you this really neat fiberglass scratching tool. And I went on and purchased a jeweler's polishing tool as well, which is similar, almost identical, it's just smaller. So this is also fiberglass, and it does the same thing as that red one. This one again was not in the original kit. I got this from I think I got this on Amazon. It's called a Euro tool, and again you find this under jeweler's tools, not art tools, which is interesting. For today, I'm going to show you a couple of different things. I missed this one too. This is awesome. This is one I was hoping to use today, if it's going to work. And it's 4 needles that are bound together. And again, these have no give at all. These are really, really stiff. So I'm hoping this one's going to work, but I'm going to show you the X-Acto knife first. So the X-Acto knife trick has been around forever for scratch board stuff, and it's really been cool. Since I wanted to try to incorporate some scratching into my stuff, I figured I'd go to the pros, which are the scratch board artists. While there are a bunch of painters that have some great reductive techniques, I figured no one knows this technique better than the scratch boarders. So, and I was right, which is kind of how I came across these tools. Can't find my glove. I have to get a new one. So for me, traditionally, the extent of my scratching on a painting, I can't do this, I need to have my fingers free. The extent of my reductive technique or scratching has been simply just X-Acto knife work. So I'm hoping to get more of this other stuff in. Okay. New cotton glove. There we go. That's much better. And so now here's the trick. This is why I did all that stuff, all that prep work was for this reason right here. So I've got a good amount of clear on this. So I've got the gray, the light gray that I painted, and then there's 4 coats of clear, and then I did all the rest of my painting. So what's going to happen now is as I scratch through this, when I lightly scratch this, it won't go down to the white of the board. It's going to go down to the gray that I painted in here. And as long as I don't dig through that clear, I'll just see that gray. And then I don't know if it's going to work up here, but the same thing with the blue. So the blue is going to have a lot of black in it. Why is that focusing on Narnia? Hold on. I'm going to turn that off so that I can manually focus it, and then it won't jump around on you guys. Okay. So the same thing holds true, and I think I can get it to work up here. So as I scratch into the blue up here, you see how the blue shows through? I don't know if you can see that, but that's what's going to happen up top here too as well. So when I get when I do all the black and I'm scratching into the black, the blue will show. So it's really neat. It gives you that kind of you don't have to, like, I wouldn't have to paint these lines in with like a gray color.
The other really cool thing about scratching instead of painting is when you paint, especially with a paintbrush, that line that I would put in is going to be inherently transparent until I build it up enough. So essentially, to get these really fine lines in, I'd have to paint those lines more than once. I'd have to go over them to get them to work. But with this, it's just really just scratch down to the clear, and then that's as opaque and gray as it needs to be. So you can see this, you know, it's joyfully tedious. I like the jeweler's polishing pen, use one a lot. Yeah, isn't it great, Dwayne? Yep. I can't really, well, I can, well, no, I can't because it's clear all over this. I was going to say I could show you up on here, the people who don't, but this is going to be a tall order because what happens is, so the clear is on this, so the blue is there and then the clear, so as I use this tool, it just scuffs the clear. It doesn't go through to the blue. So I need something a little bit more aggressive. Well, let's do this one so you can see this thing. Hopefully this will go through the clear. It won't. Shows you how strong not UVLS, but the Autoborn sealer is. I can't scratch through that to the magnet below. Wait a minute. Is that true? Yeah, look at that. That's what I got to do to scratch down to the magnet. That's insanity. Oh well. All right, so that's going to work. All right, so the other one I wanted to try, see if it works. See how close these are together, because this will save a little bit of time with the needle one, because it'll put 4 lines in a row. Oh, and they're really thin too. Oh, this is awesome. I love it. Oh, that's cool. All right. The only thing you got to be careful of with this tool, because those are so even, they're gonna end up being, you'll see the pattern of the 4. So I got to be careful with that to kind of make that stay natural. Enzo, what's up, buddy? Yeah, because I don't want that to come off as super mechanical. That is cool, though. Saves a lot of individual time. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll put a bunch of these scratches in, and then yeah, I gotta, and then we'll keep going with it. So the next thing to happen is a little bit more airbrushing. So before I get too far with this, though, I have to make sure I have the veins in those little lines. I'm going to make sure they're always going in the correct direction, because it's going to be easy for me with that tool to just kind of forget where the grain is of these little lines. So I'm going to just run across this thing and put some markers on here so I know where they're supposed to be. That's better. I can jump back to this guy here. You know what? Now I want all different sizes of these. Like different needle sizes, so you can form different lines. Oh God, there we go. So now I'm gonna end up spending all kinds of more money on stuff, which is okay, but still. Yeah, that's awesome. That works out great. What do you know? I use a 40-50 between layers when scratching as a stop area. I like the 4004 for scratching. The 40-50. Yeah, so Dwayne, try the 6000. It is bulletproof. As strong as the 40-50 is, the 6000 is like the 40-50 on steroids. Plus, again, you know, it has a higher build, so you can sand it or add whatever texture you want to it, which is nice, because that's what I was doing before too. I was using the 4050 as pretty much the barrier coat. I still do with the satin and everything, but the 6000 is awesome. Yeah, you'll love it. And it is a different formula. It's not just like it's the same thing repackaged, which is, you know, not that Createx does that, although they do have, you know, similar or you know, items that are the same, just renamed so that they fit in the line, you know, but that is not one of them. This is awesome. This makes me super happy. Yeah, Dwayne, what it does is, like, I still use 4050 as my additive mix in all my paint. But for any of that barrier type stuff, it's the Autoborn sealer. And here's the other thing too. I'll give you guys a little, I'll zip back for a second. I posted this the other day. I'm working on this for Spray Gunner. So this is a stainless steel model from Metalworks, and it's the big old the AN 225, that huge cargo plane from that was built in the Ukraine. So what you're seeing here, I've already sprayed the stainless steel, the metal here. This already has the 6000 on it. It's got 3 coats of 6000 on it, and you can't even tell. It's amazing. So now the beauty is now I can use candies on this. I can use Wicked colors. I can use whatever, you know, Tim Gore's Lifeline. It doesn't matter. This even though it looks like raw metal right now, it's essentially has the same surface as this. It does have the same surface as that. So yeah, it's really, really great stuff. I'm loving it. And I learned this from Gerald's video, so I don't want to take credit for that because he had done a train car that was very similar. So yeah, cool stuff. Definitely happy with the way that stuff is going. All right, I'm going to finish doing the scratching on this feather. You notice down the bottom here, because I didn't have very much of the gray, that you can't even see the scratches down below, and that's what we're looking for. That's what I wanted to do. Oh my gosh, this makes it so easy. Yeah, I want like 10 more of these, but just in different sizes. Looks like the wires are crimped into this. This doesn't come apart either. So that's it. Yeah, they had this barrel. You can even see it. It's cracked right there. They had this barrel, and then they just crimp it down on top of the wires. Oh, I need 1 million of these now, different sizes. Yeah, right? It may be. I don't know. I don't know how tattoo needle guns work, so. But there you go. How freaking crazy is that? And that, like, I couldn't get that to look like that with paint. It wouldn't happen. All right, I'm gonna keep rolling with this because I'm having fun with it, and I got to do it anyway. All right, so this feather here on the open, this has kind of an S-shaped curve with these veins. So I want to make sure that, again, I have some reference lines here. So as I'm scratching, I have something to go by. And then as it comes out here, it switches back to more of a, yeah, more like that. I'm sure, I mean, you know, you can get soft enough aluminum. I'm sure, you know, between that and like old X-Acto knives or even inexpensive X-Acto handles, like my blue one here, I'm sure there's a way to make these at different sizes. Simon, thanks, buddy. Yeah, isn't it? It's fun. So the one thing that I'm finding too with this, and especially with clearing them, You do have to kind of take a little bit more care when you're clearing them. Like I can't show you the Stormfront painting from the side now because it's in the frame, but this definitely has texture to it now. So when you're clearing, you have to be careful that you make sure you bury that. Oh, isn't this a blast, Tim? Yeah, it's like I said, it was great. There's a couple pen and ink artists that I really love, and also some scratchboard artists, and I just thought it was fascinating the textures that it could get with it. And then they do have, like, you can get scratchboard that has color underneath the black. So as you scratch it, the colors kind of, you can see them. And then as soon as I saw that, I'm like, well, that's exactly what we want to do. You know, we want to have whatever color for the painting exposed underneath. And I'm like, oh, that's easy. We just need to paint the board, you know? All right, so this feather, for some reason, all the little lines in his feathers are pretty much the same direction. I don't have a whole bunch of paint on here, so there's nothing to really scratch, but that's still good. That is crazy cool. I love that. Okay, so we're going to do next. Yeah, we're going to finish these 3 feathers. I think that'll be a good way to go. All right, so what I want to do next is I want to reintroduce that, and I want to kind of like I do with the paintbrush work. I don't want any one tool to be like, oh my gosh, you used a palette knife, or you used an airbrush, or you used a paintbrush, or whatever. I want it to just be, wow, that's a cool picture or a cool painting of a bird's wing, you know? So what I'm going to do is to kind of soften that scratching a little bit. I'm going to go in with that same, nope, that's not the color I want. I'm going to go with the same gray that I had, and just really lightly go over what I did, especially at the top edge. Make sure I get a... Yeah, Dwayne, that's an awesome idea. Solder needles together in different widths. You can come up with all kinds of different tools. And then as long as, like I said, with, and you know, Dwayne, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. These cheapo X-Actos have these removable head systems on them. I am sure you can work out some sort of, you know, flat. Come on, man. These things are so cheap. I can't even get this apart. But anyway, you could come up with a flat, you know, like a flat base for the needles that you could just then, instead of an X-Acto blade, you'd use your mount, and then you just replace it in the handle. That would be amazing. Thomas, what's up? Yes, scratching is fun. That's funny, I'm spraying this and I'm like, this gray isn't dark enough. Why isn't this gray dark enough? Because I sprayed black on it. I'm a dumbass. All right, so anyway, it's still going to work. I'll show you how. So I'm going to kind of hit the top edge of this to kind of blend that in a little bit. And then I'm going to hit it with black again like I did originally. Really lightly, just to kind of knock that gray down. Yeah, that's really fun. Gosh. I love it when you try something and it actually works. All right, so there is one little repair here. I scratched down, you can just see it. It's not a big deal, but it's going to bug me. I kind of caught the blade or the needle in the a little bit harder than I should have, and it dug all the way down. So I'm just going to take a little bit of gray and fill that in. Again, that's total nitpicking, crazy stuff, but it all came out so good. I don't want, you know, I don't want those little mistakes to kind of pop out. But that is super cool. That's really fine. Huh. Not that I didn't think it was going to work, but you never really know until you mess with it. But that's cool. All right, let's get the blue in, and I guess the blue in the spine of the feather, and then yeah, it's pretty much there. Oh, you know what I did do though? The spine is below. This is the blue. I did kind of screw this up. So the spine runs through here, so there aren't any. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to. All right, we're gonna have to do some jazz. Can I do this? Hold on. Let's see if this is gonna work for you. Yep, I just have it on the wrong spot. The wet palette moves around a lot when I'm working. All right. Yeah, the spine of that. All right, yeah, we're going to have to do some jazz. Hold on. I don't want to do this. Because you can't do this and not do it right. So what I did was I have these. I was so excited about doing the scratching technique that I didn't realize that the spine of the feather is like right about there. And then the other side of it, the texture is going in the other direction. So I got to fix that real quick so I can put the spine in. Because at this point, if it's going to be this accurate, and then I'm going to want it accurate the whole way through. I don't want to just come up short at the very end because I'm trying to save time. So we're going to basically paint in that top edge, get rid of the scratching, or kind of get rid of the scratching on the top edge of that. That's awesome, Dwayne. No, that's the fun thing, Dwayne. It's so cool, right? You've been doing it all this time, and then and like I said, it's usually from somewhere other than what we do, right? It's like you'll see, I don't know, you see someone making a cake or something, and they have a tool, and it like clicks with you. It's like, why didn't I think of applying that to what I do? You know what I mean? And it seems like someone should have thought of that. You know what I mean? All the time. That's what makes it so fun doing what we do, All right, so there's the gray. I'm going to hit it with black. I do have I have physical texture on this side, but I'm hoping it's not going to make that much of a difference once I get to scratching it. But we'll find out. This will be a good test. And Dwayne, I haven't really looked. Like I just started looking for scratchboard tools, and that's how I came across the Ampersand kit. But I'm sure that like the heavy duty scratchboarders, I'm sure they got like the coolest stuff. There we go. That's better. Okay, so essentially what I did was I erased the scratching on the top half of it, on the very top edge, and you'll see why in a second when I put the spine in, and then actually I'll re-scratch first and then put the spine in since it's underneath. Yeah, outside the box, absolutely, and that's where all the new ideas come from. It doesn't come from within what we do, that's for sure. All right, scratchy. Yeah, let's since this is a lot smaller, I think I'm gonna hit this with the X-Acto knife. Because what happens is the spine comes down, and then the veins, I guess, in the feather itself are going this way. So it's a really small distance. So instead of using that little tool, I'll just do this by hand, which I was doing the other one by hand too, but you know what I mean. And this is what I'm talking about. I don't know if you could see that just a second ago. There was steel wool bits on my knife because the knife blade, for whatever reason, I think because all the magnets are around, the knife blade becomes slightly magnetized, so it ends up picking up all the loose steel wool that's floating around because I use steel wool on this. So that's why I don't use steel wool. All right, those couple little bits broke apart, but that's okay because we're learning what not to do on the rest of the feathers. Oh, that's a good one. The whole thing came off. That's all right. We know how to fix it now too. What that is that's the clear that came off. So there was a small enough strip that from the scratching that the clear just came off down to the white or down to the gray. But as I'm scratching this is just going down to the gray. Like if I really dig in, I could go down to the white and it would be super brilliant like that. This is going to be a good mindless job. You know, when I'm just like, I need a mental break, I'll just finish this painting. All right, so let's fix this guy here so we don't have to look at it. Yeah, that did go all the way down. There's definition there. All right, that's good. Now I can put the spine in. So the spine for this is black with a flare of blue in it. So we'll grab a real dark color here. And the spine of this feather. Do it thin and then we'll thicken it up. So there's a museum in Wisconsin. It's called Laoki Woods, and they have the premier bird art show every year. So the biggest names in anything bird art is in this show. And it's on Marge's bucket list to get in this show. So be really cool. And whenever I see bird art, I always think of that show. Lewis, what's up? There's a little art store in town with a bunch of scratchboard stuff. Dwayne, Marge and I were just talking about that yesterday, how that is such a cool and rare thing now. Actually, that should have curved a little bit more. That was kind of a bummer. I shouldn't have just painted that in. I should have been paying more attention. I'll have to fix that now too. We were just talking about that. Like when I hate to be like the get off my lawn guy, you know, the old timer or whatever, but it just sucks that there are no little art stores around anymore. There were a bunch of them when I grew. I worked in a big, one of the big art stores. They were big locally. Like there was a Charette's in Massachusetts, and there was a Utrecht in Boston and that kind of thing. But there was a art store called Commercial Screen Supply, and on the South Shore of Massachusetts, they were one of the biggest art stores around. They had everything. And it was a warehouse type store, which was a blast because you could literally find everything, and they just had, it was just cool. It was like Candyland for artists. But not only that, there were other little art stores around that. So if you couldn't find it there, you could go and find it at Crescent Art or whatever. But they're just, I know and I get it. Every small store is being like forced out by every box store for everything. But it just sucks, It sucks that we're becoming, like Amazon land. And I say that, but you know what? I love being able to find anything under the sun that I want, and by going to Amazon. But still, we're paying for that, and that kind of sucks. All right, let me fix this spine here. I've got just a really light blue, so I'm just going to kind of start by remolding that spine a little bit so it curves a little bit more. There's a light blue highlight on all these spines anyway, so I'm just kind of using that highlight on the top one to reshape it. It's the same the world over. Growing up, new small art stores on a 20-mile drive. Now there are none. Yeah, Simon, exactly. It's not just. Yeah, it's certainly not just here in the U.S. It's everywhere. And again, you know what? I see it in everything. In hardware. Before you'd have the little mom and pop hardware store. Now, I mean, we have a couple little hardware stores around here, non-Home Depot-ish type of stores, but even those are chain stores. They're owned by, it's a franchise, which is still fine. It's family owned, at least that's got that going for it, but still the days of, those little stores are gone, and that sucks. And I understand it. You can't expect someone to open a store like that now. I mean, how do you compete with, even if, like hardware, how are you going to compete with the big box stores? And even the big online stores like music, I'll use music as an example. There's always music stores around everywhere. You go to buy a guitar, you want to try your guitar. So you have a music store, you go try it. And then in the early 90s and really late 80s, you had the big superstores online show up, like Guitar Center and Sweetwater and Mars Music and all that. So those huge online or mail order companies basically like demolished small mom and pop music stores. They couldn't compete. And now all those stores like Guitar Center and Sweetwater are getting their asses handed to them by companies like Amazon, non-related stores that are selling musical instruments. And it's crazy. It's like the bigger fish just keeps eating the bigger fish, and I don't know what it looks like when it ends. It feels like it's going to end with, we buy everything from a company like Amazon, just everything you buy. And I know that's certainly what Amazon is looking for, but I don't know, man. Something to be said for mixing it up a little bit. There's your soapbox for today. Here on the Cali Coast, we have an odd assortment of little specialty crafts. And Dwayne, I hope that continues on, or I hope I hope some people say, you know what, I'm done with that, and then they open a store like that, and then I hope the public responds to that and actually supports that store and shops there. Because that's the big thing too. And again, I say it all the time, it's like, if I need something super specific, it's so nice to be able to find exactly what I'm looking for on Amazon. But I really should go down to the store and look at the hardware store first or whatever to see if the local mom and pop has it, and then buy it from them. So it's definitely a two-way street. We gotta support those places that that have that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's awesome, Dwayne. I agree. And here's the thing. I don't mind paying more for that because I pay for the service that I get when I go into a store like that. I also pay for the advantage of being able to hold it in my hand and look at it. And I also pay for the service of if I have a problem or have a question on it, I can ask someone there. I like that, All right. So that's good. That's good. Let's work on the blue a little bit. That's still not, I don't feel that's cool, but it's not dark enough. So maybe we can darken that a little bit before I run through. We need more people to actually be collaborative and supportive of their fellow artists and products that they have to offer. Yeah, Lewis, I agree with that too, because with the flood of AI art and all that, I think it's great that people who don't have any artistic skill can now express themselves in a way, by coming up with the AI art and all that. And I know the companies are always looking for the faster and cheaper way to go, but you're right. If we want this stuff here to continue on, we definitely need to support it. So, which is why I'm so happy all you people are here. You guys are awesome. All right, let's get the, there's actually a really light, there's like a light black or dark strip in front of this blue before I do that. So what this whole process is, and I didn't do this, I haven't done this before. A lot of this, like you saw, the scratching was all new for me. Oops, sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't see it. The fun part about this for me is once I get the process, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of working out the process by fumbling around with it. And yeah, the first few don't really, they don't come together very fast because I'm kind of figuring it out. But once I do figure it out, then the rest of them just kind of fall into place really quickly. So, and more accurately too. Like I won't make the same mistakes on the others that I did on these. I'm a huge part of what you're talking about, that crossover between AI and airbrushing. Yeah, I mean, it's, I've seen both, all the arguments and everything. And once again, it's just, it's another tool. And, we are crazy little great apes. We are. And we don't always use, we are tool makers. We're technology bound. We don't always use that technology the right way out of the gate. And hopefully, as things progress, we learn how to use it to enhance our lives rather than go the other way, But that's always a responsibility thing anyway of the person using it. I mean, people are going to do bad things with just about everything. But it's the people that use it for the right reasons and use it in the right way. Hopefully we'll keep things rolling in the right direction. They do, Thomas, exactly. I mean, no one's going to stop it. I mean, like I said, we are technology based. That's what our superpower is as a species. So, it's what we do. Just got to make sure we, again, like anything, we use it with a little bit of responsibility. It can be difficult for some people sometimes. All right, the blue. So there is a baby blue leading edge on this feather, which continues on the awesomeness of the indigo bunting. So I take some cerulean and some white, start getting that in. Now these feathers here, actually it's too light, but it's still fine. I'll work it out. These feathers here don't make sense to have any kind of scratching going on with them because these feathers are positive, where these veins here are negative. Essentially, they're in reverse. So they made more sense to put these in that way. These feathers here make more sense to just paint in. I need a little bit more blue in this though. AI is not going away. We must use, yeah, exactly. I agree. And someone brought up something really interesting too. So now in the advent of AI goes and searches the internet, right, for the artwork that matches what your prompts are telling it to create. So right now it's going out and getting actual artwork, right? What happens with the feedback loop? Like when AI art starts pulling from AI art, and the bad AI art is what the new AI art is based off of. It's going to be really interesting to see. Because you can't, I don't know if you can specifically have it, I'm sure you can. You specifically have it look for art that isn't AI to produce its own art. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see because there is a lot. I mean, I don't know if you guys, like I use a lot of photo reference sites like Dreams Time and things like that. And now, like half the images on Dreams Time and the other photo sites are AI generated, and that's not what I want. I want an actual, like if I'm looking for an indigo bunting wing, I want the real thing. So that's really interesting too. That the clip art photo sites are all like AI stuff too now. Yeah, exactly, Tim. Exactly. And the beauty is Tim, because you're classically based, you're using that in exactly the way you should. You're using that as your jumping off point. You're creating something from that, not just using that as the final art. And that's what it always is. All right, I gotta let that dry. That's a little bit too dark. I went too dark on that, but it's all good. Like I said, it's all part of this learning curve. And the other side of it too is the inside of this thing isn't dark enough either. So But that is definitely going to be the marching orders for this. That's going to be the way that's going to go. But I got to make sure I have the prep done correctly beforehand, which is make sure that edge is dark enough underneath it. One great thing is if we use an AI generated image, there's no copyright infringement. Exactly. Tim, I was going to do a series of AI art type paintings, like all the paintings that have like 7 fingers and like really wonky, like Salvador Dali blending, droopy, gooey bits and pieces, you know. That is before they straighten it out. You know, soon, I mean, it's like any technology. Like, yeah, right now it's going through its growing stages. And it's fun to laugh at when it produces these, you know, really weird, odd, surreal type images when it's not supposed to. But there will be a day very soon when none of that is going on. And it's going to be, you know, it's going to produce some really, really, really crazy images. So, and then, you know, in the end of the day, though, me personally, like if I was a commercial illustrator, I would be like, okay, it's time to retire, because, you know, any kind of job like that is definitely going to be taken over, because no one wants to wait for that kind of art. Especially when they can push a button, throw some prompts in, and have, you know, 18,000 versions of what they were looking for. But the things like we do, you know, this actual like hang on the wall gallery art, the AI will never take that over, because what makes this valuable right here is that a human produced it, and that's it. Doesn't matter what it looks like, if it's, you know, abstract or hyper-realist or photorealist or, you know, surrealist or whatever. It doesn't matter. If it's, you know, it's the value that it was created by an actual human that will always give its value, and that's a good thing. So yeah, so personally, I'm not worried. Any collector that I lose business to because of AI art wasn't going to collect my art anyway. So makes it easy. Yeah, commercial. Yeah, because I mean that's what I went to school for. I was going to be a, you know, commercial illustrator. I was in love with all the, you know, the airbrush illustrated ads I saw, and that's what I was going to do. Now, the good thing for me is I ended up switching gears pretty hard early on. I did a bunch of commercial illustration, especially technical illustration. I got into a lot of that, like exploded views of different things for like repair manuals and stuff. And I you know, the money was real good, but it was not for me. I needed to just paint. So I ended up transitioning to just doing paintings, you know, not for, you know, corporate clients, just paint. So that's much better. Okay. So yeah, it's much better now that it's darker. And I gotta add some more blue to, no, I don't have to add a little more blue to that. That pale blue was right. There you go, Tim. Yeah, exactly. It's funny, you know what, and you know, here we go. Soapbox number 12 for today. So I went into illustration because I wanted to make sure that I had a job. You know what I mean? Like at the time I was in college, I wasn't prepared mentally to do what it took to be a self-employed painter. You know, I wanted to get a paycheck. I didn't want to have to worry about things, and that brought me to commercial illustration. Looking back, I really wish I had just had the courage to say, you know what, you really want to paint, be a painter, take small business classes and learn how to run your business, and stop being a wimp. And that's what I wish I had done. But again, I took what I thought was a safe route, and it actually ended up slowing me way down. And because then later on I had to switch gears and do what I was meant to do. So I have strong feelings for people who are like young people who are working out what they want to do with their life, and they are heavily influenced by the safety and the numbers of a paycheck. If that's not really what they're aimed for, I don't know. I'd love to be able to give them the courage to do what they really want to do and not get sucked into what people are telling them is a safer bet. So there's my soapbox. Now, I not saying that, there were people around me when I was younger that were, encouraging me on the paycheck route. But people like my parents, were amazing influences, and they weren't. They were always about, kind of doing what you should be doing what you have the most passion for. Because here's the thing, it's real simple. You're going to do the best job at the thing you have the most passion for, period. So yeah, if you take a lesser route, you're going to do a lesser job. So I have cerulean blue here straight, but just with a little bit of reduction in it, a little bit of 40-50 to add some of the finer details, the little separation between those little leading feathers there, or leading edge there. There you go. All right. So you saw it here first. These little things work. Let me do you know what we'll do, that's all I'm going to do here, because basically now what I'll do is that feather right there, I'll just do it across the whole thing now that I've got it down. But let's do a quick demo, because I want you to see the other tools. I just need something to paint on. Hold on one second. Here. So I mentioned this before. Ampersand has, and again, if you want like all this fun stuff, you can get all of this at. I found all of it at Dick Blick. So these are these little 2x2 clayboard panels, which are awesome because they're already pre-cut. So you can cut this stuff really easily if you have a table saw with a super fine blade on it. But if you don't want to get into messing with it, all this stuff is already ready to go. Just buy it and use it. What I missed from Dwayne. I was out getting stuff. When I can go out and paint an object or a mural, I'll start to work. Yeah, and that's true with the motorcycle world too. With all the wraps and all that stuff, was like, oh my gosh, no one's going to pay for a paint job because they get a wrap. It's the same thing. There's still, eventually maybe someone's going to come up with a robotic spray device that will be able to do art, but I just don't see I don't see the money in it for someone to develop that kind of technology. So I have seen wall mural robot painters though, which is pretty scary. All right, let's put some, I'll just use black because it's easier. So I'll just spray this board. This is, now you guys don't usually see me do this because I don't usually do this, but this is paint directly onto clayboard, which will absolutely 100% work. I make it sound like, or I hope I don't make it sound like this, but I always put, like a base of Autoborn sealer on all these boards. You don't have to. You can paint directly on them. I just like it because, I don't know if you can see it. Actually, this one's pretty good. They use I think they use a random orbital sander to sand their boards. And occasionally when you spray it, especially with a light directional spray, you can see all the swirls in it. So that's one of the big reasons that I use the Autoborn sealer, because then I don't have it, and that all fills in. It's super fine, but you can still see it. So all right, let's have some fun. So this is the wire tool that I was talking about for the grass, and it's neat because it puts random scratches in. Like it's not as defined as the tool we were just using. So it's great for grass and hair. The tool we were just using, I'll show you again up in the dark area. This will just put down 4 very controlled, or 5, I guess. I can't count. And you could do cross hatching with this. This is insane, this little thing. I love this thing. Look at it. You can make like fabric. What the hell? Anyway, the traditional scratchboard tool, which has the diamond-shaped blade, this is what you would normally do. Most of your scratching with. When I was learning scratchboard in school, or doing scratchboard in school, this is the tool that we used all the time. And you can hold it down at a broader angle. It's sharp all the way across, so you can get kind of a broad scratch out of it too. And then these things, which I never knew about until just recently, and everyone like, oh yeah, those have been around for a long time, and I'm like, I didn't know that. So the fiberglass scratching, this basically acts almost like a rough eraser, and it still has a grain to it, it still has like lines to it, but it's very, very soft. So it's again, between the two tools, you could make the most amazing hair texture. And if you're careful, you can basically rub it right back down to the original surface. So there's that. And then, of course, I got this Euro tool, which is the same thing, but it's just a little bit finer. And does the same thing, though. Really super fine. And then there are, of course, there are fiberglass warnings with both of these tools. These things shed as you use them. So you want to make sure you're aware of that, because if you've ever done any kind of fiberglassing, like insulation in your house, getting glass shards under your skin is both annoying and dangerous. So use all the safety with this stuff, especially with these tools like this, because we're working with them in different directions. Those pieces will kind of break off. So you don't want to get them, in your eyes or anything like that. But what a wonderful set of tools for doing stuff like this, You can have a lot of fun with this. That's awesome, Dwayne. Yeah, I should keep my eyes out more often, or start looking more often, because there's some really fun stuff. So there you go. Those are the tools. And all of those tools come in the one kit. Do I have a box? Yeah, I do. Here you go. This is what you're looking for if you want the kit that I got. This is the scratchboard tool kit. Again, that's where the missing other blade is, which I put in a safe place that I can't find. But you get all 4 tools, and then you get the small piece of clay board, and then the steel wool. Steel wool, since I got it here, I can show you. So steel wool will just give you a very soft, like micro fine scratching. Again, really good for I don't know, for texture. Oh, you can't see it because I'm too far away. Here we go. There we go. Yeah. So like up here in the corner, so the steel wool gives you a micro fine, like little scratch, which is awesome. So fun. Again, this is all Createx Wicked Colors, so it all works. Now, one big thing that you want to kind of keep in mind. Now, the reason why all this scratching technique works so well for me with the Wicked Opaque Black is because I have this hyper reduced. If you find that you're going to be doing a lot of this reductive technique, you're going to want to use the illustration colors. The illustration colors are designed to be reworkable, which means this stuff here. So, so you're going to you'll have a much lighter touch to get the effect you want using illustration colors. So that's what I would suggest. If you find that you want to mess around with this, mess around with the illustration colors first. And then, like I said, you can use Wicked, but Wicked's a lot stronger and it's going to resist the scratching. And that may be what you want, You may want it, you may have a heavier touch and, you want it to fight back a little bit. That's fine too. So it's just a matter of doing that. 30 years ago, scratching was a trade secret. Yeah, Tom, it's just like pinstriping. It's like, anyone who knew how to do it wasn't going to give up their tips or whatever. So what else did I miss? I've had the fiberglass. I got that one. And I believe it was Marissa I saw using one. Oh, cool. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Marissa is awesome. All right, kids, that's what I got for today. I got to jump back on these 543s because I'm horribly behind. Usually what happens is by this time on Thursday, by the feed, usually I have at least one or two done already, and I don't. So I'm going to try to get them all done for Monday. I do have, there are some fun ones this week. So there are some good suggestions. If you are interested in winning one of those paintings, you just come by on Monday and make a suggestion. That's all you got to do. Yeah, and I know for like this feed is designed for the UKers, really. It's designed to come on at a decent time in the UK, and I know the Monday night feed is pretty late. But even if you just come on, make a suggestion, and then bail out, you're still entered to win. You don't have to hang around. And you don't have to be there live to win. So that's cool too. So that's what I got. All right. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I'm going to get back to it. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully I'll see you on Monday or during the week. And if not, I will catch you next Thursday. And you guys are the best, and you get to look at indigo buntings again. Here we go.